Welcome to the thousands of Cooking with Cax fans out there. You're in for another big episode this week. Alongside me, my assistant Claire. Claire, how are you?
I'm pretty good, thank you.
What have you been up to this week? Up to much?
Yeah, I've played a few games of tennis, had a bit of school, it's been good.
This week on Cooking with Cax, we are making the centres chicken and tomato wedges. Now, this is a really, really tasty dish, one of my favourites. Good thing about it is if you're really messy, you can eat with your hands, or otherwise you can eat it with a knife and fork like your mum tell you to. But, Claire, what do we need this week?
Right, so we need some skinless, boneless chicken, potatoes, olive oil, mint, capsicum, vinegar, crushed garlic, brown sugar, tomato paste and some water.
Alright, we've got plenty of ingredients, let's get cooking.
Alright, I'll chop up some potatoes.
Yeah, I might make a start on these capsicum.
Now what's cool about this is that you don't have to take off the skin, so it makes everything a whole lot faster. So I'm cutting these potatoes into wedges and they're all roughly the same size, which means that they'll cook at about the same pace.
When you cut your capsicum open, it's always important to cut out all this white furry stuff and all these seeds because you don't want to eat that part of it. So just slip your knife in behind it, just cut very slowly behind it, like that, and then you can chuck it away.
Hey, do you want to grab us that baking dish?
Yeah, I suppose I can. What are we doing with it?
Well, this is a real cool recipe because it's a typical pick it up, chuck it in type deal. So now we're going to put half a cup of tomato paste in here. Just mix it in on top. So when I say chuck it in, make sure it hits the bowl.
Yeah. It's a bit like my passing sometimes, I think.
All right, and then we're going to get 2 teaspoons of crushed garlic.
Good thing about garlic, it keeps the vampires away. They don't like garlic.
All right, bit of brown sugar. We are going to chop up some mint.
Okay, the important thing when you're cutting raw meats, especially chicken, is to, if you're going to cut it on a tray, once you've cut it, you can't use that tray for anything else except chicken again. Otherwise it needs to be washed and re-sanitised, otherwise you get really sick.
All right, so we'll put about 2 tablespoons of vinegar in and about the same of olive oil. And then you've got to put half a cup of water in.
I don't care what you've cut up. I think the most important part of this meal is cutting up the chicken. I think that's where the meal's won and lost. Just again, for you kids at home, make sure that you get an adult or a master chef in to cut your chicken for you. We don't need you cut your fingers off. Righto, Claire, I'm done. You need to start mixing that up. All
right, sounds like a plan. So all you got to do is keep your fingers in there and make sure you mix everything in together. This makes it have a good coat so it will cook nice.
When you get your hands all covered in paste and whatnot, just rub it on your T-shirt and then go run and tell Mum what you've done. See what she says. No, don't do that, you'll get in trouble. Cool.
All right, so that looks good to go. Sit in my hands too.
Righto, I'll chuck this in the oven.
So it's on 200 degrees for about 20 minutes. Then after 20 minutes, we'll add the chicken.
Here we are, out of the oven, back on the bench. Time to put the chicken in.
All right, here we go.
I'll just mix this around.
You're mixing it in just to make sure the juices get through the chicken and the potatoes that were on top. Well, that looks pretty good.
Right, so I'll chuck this back in here.
So it'll cook for about another 15 minutes, and in that time you need to continue to stir it, but 15 minutes to go.
Well, what are we going to do with 15 minutes? Do the dishes?
No, I think I should go pick up Rugger.
Probably not a bad idea.
See you later.
See ya. Hey guys, I don't know if you know, but I'm a qualified builder, which means one thing, I know my way around tools. Today's tool, the pastry brush. Now this will help you spread garlic, oil or sauces over your favourite foods. And what it does do is gives you an even spread over all your chips. But if you're in a hurry, we've got this fence and deck brush. Now this will coat an 8x12 room with oil in about 2 minutes. All right. Glad you guys waited for me. Oh, Rugger, you've already finished. Things I do for my friends. From all of us here at Cooking with Cax, we'll see you next week.